Gentlemen, welcome back to Administrative Results. Today I have a special treat for you. I have Mr. Micah Mayfield. Now I'd categorize Micah Mayfield as a ultra gun hipster, and today Micah Mayfield is going to
Is it just because my glasses are clear?
It's because you look like Seth Rogan of GunTube. Now in today's episode, Micah Mayfield is going to rate his 5 favorite guns from my collection. Over the years of gun tubing, I have amassed some interesting firearms.
Way more interesting than mine. Sorry to interrupt. I was very shocked. It actually took me a really long time to pick the 5 guns for this because I was like, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool.
That's very nice, thank you.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do, he already picked his 5. We'll do some shooting, we'll do some talking, and have a good time. Let's dive on in with the first gun.
Some of the guns that I picked are so weird. Have they seen all the guns that I picked?
They've all been in videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I had to pick a pistol, and this is a pistol that I've been wanting to get for myself.
Sure.
And it's the Colt Python. I feel like this could be a contender for one of my favorite handguns ever. I noticed you had a series of Pythons in there. That's very cool. That spoke to me. But because I could only pick one, I feel like I picked the most classic Colt Python, and that's the Coral Python.
Absolutely. The Walking Dead has really launched the Colt Python 6-inch variant into a whole level of stardom, and that's the main reason I got that one.
This is 38 special. You didn't have any big boy rounds.
Oh, I got 357. They're like self-defense rounds, so I'm just saving them for when the zombie apocalypse happens. What we're gonna do, first drill, 6 rounds, as fast and
Is it bad to whip them in?
No, you're fine. As possible. Shooter, ready?
From here? Are we doing double action only, single action?
Listen, you can shoot it however you want.
Hold on, there's a bug in my armpit. I think it just stung me. There's a bug in my armpit.
Well, get it out, dude.
Huh?
Get it out.
Double action only?
As fast and as accurate as possible.
Starting on target or what?
We'll go at the base.
Okay.
Stand by.
We'll just go compressed.
Stand by.
Yep.
Oh, that's pretty solid, dude.
It's pretty easy to diagnose what happened here. I don't shoot double action revolvers, and so every shot I did, I just pulled down.
Yeah, I always say it. Shooting revolvers are like high stakes Nerf guns.
Much tighter group, all to the right though.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Not great.
Can we redo it?
Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Micah's group is more center mass. Mine was pulling to the right because I suck.
Well, we both suck.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Colt Python's actually really cool. So back in the day, they were like the fine-tuned handgun of the revolver era. You know, like hand-fitted craftsman parts, really sought after. They were more expensive. And thankfully, Colt brought it back. In the year 2020, they brought back their Python line.
I actually didn't know that. I thought they never went out of production.
No. So they actually stopped for a bit and they brought them back because everyone's like, dang, I want a Colt Python, but all the Pythons on the market are a little bit more aged, a little bit more collector's items, and guys probably wouldn't be considered to want to run and gun their Python really hard on the range.
Yeah, that's cool.
If you think about the revolver era, like to a duty capacity, it's crazy to think like law enforcement guys for a long time were rocking double action revolvers, and the deliberate nature of those trigger pulls, of those, say, when they had to employ a revolver in a scenario, it's just like wild to think how deliberate you would have to be. And it's like, that still holds up today, but the level of forgiveness you have with, say, a 17-round Glock 17 in a duty capacity.
Yeah, no doubt. I could definitely get used to this. I feel like now that I've done it, I could probably do it better.
And so, put things in perspective, we're shooting 38 special, which is much easier to control and recoil and follow-up shots than 357. So it would take some skills in orientating yourself to the gun and the whole revolver world to work up and get anywhere decent with it, I would say.
Smooth revolver. I like it.
Exquisite. Moving on. It's crazy that it shoots. Oh.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing rocks, dude. Why does this thing kind of scare me?
This f***ing sucks, dude.
The second gun I picked is your super bizarre Sterling build. This one really speaks to me. This seems like the stupid stuff I would do just because.
It is exactly
that. Kind of,
that.
If you didn't stop and ever ask if you should, you did it because you could.
You'll find out, but this is one of my more ambitious projects that has really yet to ever come to fruition, but.
Ambitious. It looks like it came to fruition just fine.
Yeah.
Oh. This is a good gun. This is a really good gun.
It's pretty solid, yeah.
You think we'll get 2 rounds out of it?
If you do, it's a miracle. It's a pretty sick bolt action, isn't it?
I understand the term ambitious now.
Brandon Herrera built an AK-50 in the garage with a box of scraps.
Ah! Why won't it work?
Story of my life, dude. I think the most I ever got was like 3 to 4 rounds.
Why didn't you tell me that in the garage?
I mean, you seem so excited.
You should cast this into the lake of fire.
I still have hope. So the Sterling, the Brits and their colonies all have such an affinity for tube guns with the weird orientation of where the magazine goes. The Sten, the Sterling, the Australians with the Owen gun. I've always been a big fan of the Sterling submachine gun and how it was coming about towards the very tail end of World War II. It seemed like a better improvement over the Sten. The magazines, way better than the Sten mags. The Sten mags suck. The Sterling mags, way better. With their little roller double stack feature. It's just a massive improvement. And of course we have the nostalgia for the Sterling with the E11 blaster from Star Wars. Back in the day, and it's been years now, when I wanted to work on this project, I was very ambitious. I got a parts kit. I heard about like semi-auto Sterlings. I wanted to get like M-block rail instead of the cheese grater circles that the OG Sterling has.
Oh, so this isn't a common thing, except closed bolt Sterlings.
Problem with the semi-auto tube guns is it's really, to me, from what I'm guessing, is it's a massive dice roll of if it's going to actually work.
It's one of the cooler looking tube guns.
Yeah, I just think closed bolt tube guns, and maybe it was just the build on this one. And if you're out there and you want to work on this thing, by all means, hit me up.
It's not even goofy. It's very cool. Like actually, it's very cool. It's why like I brought it out here.
And I'm sorry to burst your bubble, you know.
Yeah, it's all good. We drove 40 minutes out here for nothing.
Seems like it's not all good. Anyway, the idea was threaded barrel, M-lock rails. You have the Picatinny slot welded onto the back.
I like how loose this is, by the way. It's not the stock that's loose, it's the
tail
whole
cap.
tail cap. Yeah.
I mean, originally that was never supposed to be the design. You had the underfolding stock there, but it's still not a NFA device, thankfully. So I didn't SBR it, and it just was pointless. You know, It's one of those things where it breaks your heart. You know, but
Yeah,
it's really
I'm pretty
cool.
bummed out. Let's go to the next one. I won't dwell on this one.
Gentlemen, these videos are made possible thanks to sponsors. Sponsors like Americana pipe trim apparel, fantastic. Young Zoomers, well, maybe elder Zoomers now, getting after in the milsurp space and arena. They have a whole plethora of stuff that can take your drip and/or LARP to the next level. Night vision, knives. Night vision knives, allegedly? Probably not. Manuals, other accoutrements that you could use on your outing. They even have e-bikes, which is very odd for a milsurp place, but it's pretty cool. I respect it. We also have to give a big thank you to Optics Planet, and I appreciate Optics Planet greatly. They are helping out. And of course, Badlands Munitions for all your ammunition needs. They have 85 grain 5.56. Who does that? Badlands Munitions does that. Peculiar, fascinating at the very least.
The next gun that I picked in your collection, now it is very cool for most people to even own one single transferable firearm. Transferable, we'll save what that means for pepper box. There are some really cool markings on the receiver. One of them stands for full house, right? Full house. There's another reason that I picked this aside from it being full house. You have this little miniature barrel conversion kit with a threaded thing with a suppressor. There's just something about old school tube guns being suppressed that really speaks to me. I just think it's just sick.
It is.
So let's shoot it. Did that go twice?
Nope. That was once.
You know why I thought it went twice? It's because you feel the bolt hit forward and then you feel the bolt lock back home and it feels like it's shooting 2 times.
I can see that.
Yeah, no, it bounces twice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's satisfying.
So normally without the KAK front end and the suppressor, it's a little bit more sewing machine reliable. For whatever reason, with the KAK short barrel and the cannon, it's a little bit more choppy.
It's just really satisfying out of a tube gun, hearing that suppressed noise.
Yes.
Really hard to communicate that on camera. You hear the bolt cycling and the mechanical noises, and then you hear that suppressed gunshot. It's just satisfying.
I wish there was, and I'm sure there is, the integrated suppressor that goes straight into the barrel. So there's some weird nuances with the Mark 760 where you have this barrel, and the barrel inside of there freely rotates. So it's not like stuck in any sort of like trunnion or anything like that. So it could mess with any potential accuracy. Chances are the engagement distances you're using this thing are pretty dang close.
For vertical grips, you more so use them for like hand stops. With this, it's like, nah, dude, I'm
A little too hot.
gripping it. That's too much fun. That's way too much fun.
Let me see it. It's like when you're a kid and someone's playing with your toy and you want to play with it. You know, like they made it look more fun.
Wait, your can's loose. It's hot too. It's actually wiggling.
What's bro doing double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon?
Let me just, a little surprise. Don't look. God damn it. Don't look. Don't look. Do not look. Just fire it.
Oh!
I wanted to see if you would flinch and do, oh.
Idiot. Why my gun working better for guests, not me?
Okay, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings here. I really picked this one for more of this front end kit.
Sure.
I think this is one of the most aesthetic tube guns, mostly due to the stock.
Obviously, you're a gun guy. You know this looks like it's based off the Swedish K.
Yeah.
Do you know any of the history behind it?
I don't.
Okay, so Vietnam War, Navy SEALs are very fond of the Swedish K, and they want more of them. But the Swedes are not very fond of the Americans fighting in Vietnam, so they're like, no, we're not selling you any more Swedish Ks. The Navy SEALs go to Smith & Wesson, and they're like, hey, we want you to copy the Swedish K. We're doing this whole thing, stopping communism in Vietnam. The Swedes are being big ol' nerds about it. So Smith & Wesson comes up with the Smith & Wesson M76. Years go on, you know, Smith & Wesson M76 kind of gets phased out. You know, the MP5 by this point's out and around. A lot more guys are using that as opposed to the M76. Well, they end up licensing this out, and this is one of those. It's a licensed copy of the M76. So it's a copy of a copy of a copy.
Having fired a Swedish K and having fired this, I do think the Swedish K probably comes out on top.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like it shoots good.
The Swedish K is probably the best open bolt submachine gun.
Yeah.
For the tube variants.
For the tubes, yeah.
But this is pretty cool. As far as transferables go, pretty affordable.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Moving on.
Next up on the list, funny enough, I didn't actually pick this because the HK91 excites me. I picked this because this old Steiner really gets me going. You don't really find a whole lot of these optics on these guns anymore. And even then, this is an HK91. This is not like a PTR clone or some kind of modern reproduction. So to have this Steiner optic on this gun, I find it very fascinating. Now, the other reason that I picked it, we were, you know, dicking around with it last night, was the first thing I asked you was like, how bad is that optic? It's gotta be awful. And then I went up and I went, oh my goodness, for the time that came out, that's not a bad optic at all.
It's pretty solid. And you still get to use your iron sights underneath it too.
It's got a terrible, terrible reticle. The eye relief is terrible. The edge-to-edge clarity is terrible. But the clarity in the center of the optic, phenomenal. Like actually, and the field of view for that time period of scope, honestly pretty big. Like you look at the old like Garand scopes and the Susat L85 and all those guns, the Susat sucks. Have you ever looked through one? It's not good.
Yes.
Like it's really bad. This absolutely blows those optics out of the water, but it does have very similar reticles where it's just a big thick post and two lines and a bunch of wide open area. Now I wanna see, is this thing zeroed?
Could be.
I'll try and shoot that piece of trash way up there on the hill. Wow, that is zeroed and you just put it on.
Yeah.
It's returned to zero?
I believe so. I believe that's part of the design.
So the thing I like about it is how much time have you put on this optic?
Not enough. It's actually pretty a new purchase.
With these style scopes and this much recoil coming through this system, you usually expect to shoot and then reacquire your scope, because if you move at all, you know, you lose the sight picture.
Yeah.
It's not the case with this.
No.
For one of the like more retro scopes, that's gotta be one of the better ones.
I love battle rifles.
Dude, that thing's badass. The scope is just a vibe too. I guess that's more of a scope pickup. Not a rifle pickup.
I'll take it, dude.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Now, we did save the best for last though. Can we just get to that one?
No, not yet.
Why?
I want to shoot it some more. You gotta get the HK slap.
Oh! Let me try that. Let me try that.
Here, go fill the mag.
The thing just takes off.
I want you to very deliberately remember the recoil of how the HK91 feels.
There's really no paddle release on that.
No.
I think a lot of people have fired MP5s, and so they go, anything roller delayed must be just as smooth and low recoiling as an MP5. The HK53, I don't know if you've shot one, is a violent recoiling round. Like that gun is very hard to fire full auto. This is no different. This 308 really is stiff in the shoulder.
Yeah, the gun itself is so cool with how modular it is, just popping pins and everything. You're aware. Swapping out stock, swapping out rails. Got the CAC rail on there right now. It's crazy to think like the lifetime of service this thing has. Like even into the global war on terror, you know, Brits using HK variants, well, like the 12-inch 308, you know, stuff like that. Like I think of Dave over in the UK was running one. Really cool setup. I personally wanted to get one so bad because of the movie Heat with Val Kilmer rolling around. We lost a good one, man. Yeah. I wish he had in that shot where he's covering down Robert De Niro, I wish he had like a Steiner scope.
Be sick.
That would have been pretty sick. Let's go on to the last gun.
I'm so excited because, oh, look at this thing. I like that it's stamped on when it was made.
2041?
Yeah.
It was made in the future?
So I know nothing about this, Aaron. Quite literally, I didn't even know that this was a gun.
It's probably one of my favorite guns.
Ever.
Actually,
so I picked a good one, and we saved the best for last.
I'm really proud you picked that because it shows that you have fantastic taste in firearms.
Well, it's just so bizarre looking. How could I not?
It does look like a 5th grader drew what they thought a gun looks like.
Dude, look at this just giant charging handle. It's smooth too. It makes me think of an MP40 or an STG-44. The MP40 and the STG is more of a push and a float. This is very much that. The opposite of that just thud in your shoulder. The whole recoil impulse, the best way I can explain it is it goes, it recoils in slow motion. Did I hit your brick?
Yeah.
He told me not to hit the brick. I shot the brick. That's a massive round.
It is.
Like huge.
To put things in perspective, ballistically they're very similar. Projectile itself is very similar to a 308.
Wow. Wow.
This is probably one of my favorite military service battle rifles ever made. To me, it really is, and I would say a lot of other guys would call it a beefed up, over-engineered version of the H&K G3. When the Swiss were designing these, they were pouring a lot of money into them. There's a lot of fine Swiss craftsmanship that goes into them. And they were designed for multiple different roles. You had not just as a assault rifle type role, of what they probably would have called it back in the day, but we all call them battle rifles. More just riflemen, I might say.
I think modern day would be assault rifle type.
They were designed for not just infantry weapons, but like DMRs and support style weapons, and even launching rifle grenades from these things. Here is hotly contested in the comment sections, whether they call this a winter trigger or the grenade launcher trigger. Personally, I think I would go with grenade launcher trigger because it seems much more apt to use, as opposed, if like anyone saying that it's not a grenade launcher trigger, I feel like has never tried to shoot a grenade launcher off of this.
Which is most people.
Which is most people, because I nearly canoed myself with a front sight when I shot a dummy round. Jeez.
Oh, like the recoil was just nuts.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has to do with the massive rubber stock back here.
Does this adjust? I didn't ask.
It does not adjust
Okay,
whatsoever.
it looks like it would have some forward and back movement, but I guess it just doesn't. So.
Yeah, this gun is very well thought out. You have this rear peep sight, which when I was talking to my Swiss buddy Brody, he was saying that there's like 40 parts in there.
In the rear sight?
In the rear sight alone. I think it was like more parts than in a Makarov. So it's pretty insane. It's very cool, very adjustable. The thing is absolutely nuts, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't even know it was a gun until today. But thank you for letting me shoot all your stuff. Now you know this gun's Swiss. It's got all the holes in it.
Like Swiss cheese?
Yeah.
You know what they say about Swiss cheese? The more cheese you have, the more holes you have. And therefore, the more holes you have, the less cheese you actually have. This was Colton's joke. Colton behind the camera, everybody. I will feed you this time after filming.
That's a great way to end it.
All right, bye.